So I've always wanted a moment to capture the essence of how Hey Chica got started. And I feel like the story of what happened and how we got to where we are is so special. And I wanted to make sure that I can share that today. I was blessed to have twin babies almost 2.5 years ago and had lost my son, one of the twins, a day after. And I share that story so openly because I felt like it's really when the seeds were planted about creating a movement for women like myself that didn't have a place to go. And during that time of my grieving and loss, I had experienced sort of an awakening of my life. And I think a lot of people talk about having these near-death experiences, and they talk about something happening to them that changes their life forever, and that was my happening. During that time, I was discovering who I was. I didn't know who I was. I was lost in the pain, and I was lost, and I felt betrayed, and I felt just ashamed of what happened, and I was thinking about what everyone else was thinking of what happened, and how was I gonna go to work the next day and tell someone that I lost my baby, or that I was sad, or that I was vulnerable, because I think for a long time I was the career woman that wanted to have the strong face and have this beautiful life and this beautiful family and this amazing husband and career. And I think it was a death to that. It was a death to myself. And during that time that I was grieving at home, I was reading books and I was trying to go see a therapist. And, a lot of that didn't work for me. I think that a lot of us struggle with where do we go when we're in our deepest, darkest cave, and no one has the answer to that, right? And culture as Latina, we weren't taught to go seek help. It was like no one says anything. We suppress all those emotions in our heart, and we just kind of have a beautiful face and keep going. And during that time, I discovered that at some points where I didn't care if I was alive or not, and I knew that something was wrong inside. And to make things worse during that time, I had to break up with 2 of my closest friends. They were like my sisters, and I didn't understand all that. It was like one thing after another, more pain, more betrayal, more hate, more anger had started to circulate in my life, and I knew that something was wrong. And all I did was know where to go. And like my grandparents taught me, my grandmother's like, you go inside and you seek help and you ask for God, you seek for light. And being a yoga teacher, yoga practitioner, I thought about my breath, and I thought about the saving, healer that I am inside. And I started to write down things that I was discovering, from reading books to investigating near-death experiences, grieving. And I just decided to sit down. I wrote all this stuff down, and I said, you know what? I want a place where women can come and say, hey, I see you. I know what you're going through. I can experience something with a sister that I really knew that had her heart and that was holding space for me. And I started writing We Recover and Reset. It was honestly before the Hey Chica Summit. I was more focused on the healing of women and the healing of the sisterhood. And during that time, I was asking other women. I came back to work and I saw everyone was still doing the same thing. No one had changed, and I was sort of angry about that. I felt, why is no one changing? Why is everyone still in this zombie mode, doing the same things? They weren't living their life, and I felt this had happened to me, and I wanted to live a different life, and I was expecting that of others, and I had to kind of scale back and say, you know what, maybe it's my job to show them how to live their best life, their real life, their authentic life, and to tell them that we're all healers. All of us are capable of healing ourselves. We have the power inside us to ignite something that's already there and that's waiting to be called upon. And that's what happened to me. So I wrote down all these ideas, and I started meeting with my friends, my personal board of directors, asking them, what do you think about this? Would you attend something like this? Do you need this in your life? Are you hurt? I wanted them to know that I was now compassionate enough to stop my life to see what they needed from me. It was no longer about me and what my career was calling. It was me showing up for someone, me just sitting in the room and holding space for a sister that needed my help, my love, my light, my pain, my advice, or just someone to listen to, because that's what I needed. All I wanted was someone to come and stay in my home and sit there with me. I didn't need a therapist telling me what happened to me when I was young. I needed someone to say, I see you, sister. I I feel you. And that was all I was calling for. And Hey Chica was that. Even the name itself was about, hey girl, let me put you in the game. Hey Chica was my way of talking to my Latina sisters and saying, hey girl, I'm gonna put you in the game. Whatever it is that you do, if you grow flowers, let's sell your garden. If you make clothes, let's sell your clothes on the internet. I'm gonna introduce you to the women that I know that embraced me. I think that the culture of the Mexican culture is like they help each other in the community. It was bartering of services, bartering of food, but also the bartering of hearts. Like, I give you my heart, you can sit in and you can cry on, and all these things that kind of culminated from just growing up in that same experience with my grandparents. And honestly, the Recover and Reset was what we wanted to start with, because I felt like it was so powerful that women needed the keys to the kingdom and the knowledge to understand what we had, from energy to intentions to light and love to karma. And it was very special. And it just so happened that the Leadership Summit came about first, and which was God's planning at its time. We brought together so many beautiful women who are now doing business together, supporting one another. They're just being there for each other. And I didn't really understand that it was gonna come and change my little world. And it did, and it's not about me. I continue to ask my sister, how can I help you? What can we do? But I do it in a vulnerable way. I want them to hear the story. I want you to hear the story of the pain that it came from, because that's the beautiful part of what it's gonna be. And I think it's bigger than me. There's so many women involved, so many beautiful people that I meet that wanna get involved and that give their heart and that wanna be vulnerable. And I hope that this experience becomes what it's supposed to. I feel that God wastes nothing. And I know that when someone experiences something that we do with Hey Chica, I know that it comes from the purest place in our heart. And I hope that that light and that message is served, it's replicated, and that it grows beyond something that I could ever imagine.